Welcome back to the podcast. I am so excited you decided to press play today. If you are in a postpartum season, you know someone who's about to be in a postpartum season, or you're currently pregnant, this episode is going to be for you. Now, I actually shared last month my story and journey with postpartum anxiety. And I fully intended that episode last month to just be a quick story about the anxiety that I have experienced and then going into 5 things to help you in your postpartum season. But actually, I ended up sharing basically my full story with postpartum anxiety and how I'm actually still navigating that right now. And so, we got super deep, we got super vulnerable, and I probably have felt, that was probably the most uncomfortable I have felt in recording an episode, to the point where I was about to just delete the whole thing. And I was like, you know what? No, I'm not. We are going to push through that thought. We're going to push through this feelings because I feel like someone out there just needs to hear this right now. And so I'm believing that for the previous episode last month, and then also this month's episode, which I'm about to share with you, is just going to be 5 simple things that you can do to support your postpartum season. These are things that I have done personally, and I just really think that they could help you. Or if you know a friend, like I said, who is going to be walking through that season too, you can share this with them if you feel like this episode is helpful. So we are going to dive in, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. All right, here you go. Here's 5 simple things to help your postpartum journey, to help you kind of navigate it a little bit more smoothly. Maybe you are expecting, maybe you're a first-time mom, second-time mom, whatever. I think there's always something we can learn in this area because it's just, like I said, it's different with every single, baby in postpartum. I feel like our bodies are different, maybe our perspectives of things have changed and are different. So these are 5 things that I did that I hope will help you. So number 1, I planned a lot of things ahead of time, as much as I could. So meals, snacks, breakfast sandwiches, literally all the things. My mother-in-law came over one day and we spent, I think, 5 hours. It was a really long day, y'all. And we just prepped all the things, put a ton of stuff in our freezer. And these were good, wholesome recipes. It wasn't lasagna. It wasn't not that there's anything wrong with lasagna. I really like lasagna, but I really tried to incorporate foods that could be helpful for milk supply and just good for a good amount of protein that would help with healing and things like that. So that was one thing I did. Also planned, who was going to set up our meal train, who was going to be the person to get groceries for us. And I communicated with these people ahead of time, hey, are you okay to set up our meal train? If so, cool. Okay, here's the details, of everything that would work out for us, as far as a time of drop off and things like that. So I kind of already chose ahead of time who those people were going to be, communicated it with them, blah, blah, blah. Also, and something else that I did this time, which you might think I'm crazy, that's okay. But I got my placenta encapsulated, and you can actually get your placenta, I guess it's dehydrated is the word. I don't know. I could be messing that up, but you basically get them in these little capsule forms. And so in order to do that, someone needed to take our placenta from the hospital to our doula's house. So we had a designated person for that. So I just tried to make things so much easier on myself by planning out who was going to do what, planning out a list of everything that I could. And it seemed like a lot on the front end. It was a lot. It was a list. There was a list for everything. There was a list for a list, like seriously. But it really, I think, helped me afterwards because I wasn't trying to scramble and figure out who was going to do what for us or figure out details like last minute. I was able to do that on the front end. So, again, wanted to prepare as much as I could so that when baby was here, I could focus on her and I could focus on me and just like recovering. So that was one thing. Second thing that I did postpartum to really help us was communicate expectations with Tony. So communicating with your spouse or your partner is so helpful during this time. And it can be really hard, especially if you're a first-time mom, because you don't really know what to expect fully. Like you can do as many of the classes and as many of the prep stuff and research as you want, but at the end of the day, you don't really know fully how things are going to go. But since this was our second time around having a baby, Tony and I talked a lot and communicated a lot ahead of time about some expectations. So, for example, did we want family to come to the hospital or did we want them to come to our house? And when did we want them to come to our house? I would say that something that was helpful for us that we were told is if we really wanted family to come and see the baby, we wanted to give ourselves like a week or two at home just by ourselves and then let people come and see the family. And if we or come and see the baby, if we changed our minds on that, then it was more helpful, I feel like, to change our minds the other way rather than tell family and friends like, hey, you can come over tomorrow. And then, that end up not happening, which is totally fine. You are so allowed to change your mind whenever you want. It was just like something that was helpful for us. So we told family, give us a couple weeks. That ended up not happening at all. Like we did not take 2 weeks. We thought we were going to want that time, but we didn't. We wanted to just take, a little bit of time and then just show off our baby to everyone because she was adorable. And she is adorable. She has like so many roles right now. But yeah, so that's something you can talk about and communicate ahead of time. Another thing we talked about was communicating. I communicated with Tony, hey, I really want to breastfeed this time again, and I really want to try. And so with that, it would be really helpful if you helped me out with making sure I'm snacking and making sure I'm getting enough water, and just him having like these little check-ins with me just to make sure I'm getting what I need. Because if you're the mom, you are forgetting to take care of yourself all the time. You literally like forget to shower or you just don't care. It's one of those two. Either you forget and you're like, I don't know the last time I showered, or you just quite literally don't care because it's not a priority to you right now. And that's totally fine. But, I kind of communicated with him like, hey, I really want to take care of my health in this way so that I can try to have good milk supply. So that's something we talked about ahead of time so that he knew and could have those expectations like of, hey, I'm going to help Kayla this way, I don't think, again, it's possible to communicate all expectations beforehand because, again, things just might be different. And if you're a first-time mom and dad, you don't really know what to expect. But at least communicating some things can help you guys be on the same page, because it's a lot. And it's a lot of adjusting and no one is sleeping. And it's really easy to be short with one another and to be cranky and all of the things and not have the fruit of the Spirit. And so, when you communicate some of those things, it just relieves some of that stuff for your relationship. The third little tidbit I got for you is don't be afraid to ask for help. I just want to shout this from the rooftops, okay? People want to help you, okay? And sometimes people just don't know how, or they don't want to bother you. They don't want to feel like they're bothering you, And so it's okay to text family members and text friends, especially if they've already been like, hey, let me know if you need anything. People say that, hey girl, let me know if you need anything. And you're like, okay, I'm going to take you up on that, so text a couple of family members or friends, ask them for favors. For example, you can say, like, if you need someone to pick up your groceries, right? You can be like, hey, I'll put the order in. Can you pick my groceries up for me? Hey, can you bring me a coffee? Can you just drop it off on my doorstep? Hey, can you watch the kids for an hour while I go for a drive? Just little things like that, like asking for help. And maybe people will say no, and it's okay. Like, people have whatever's going on in their life as well. So don't be discouraged by that, but also, just keep asking for help. And also, if you're on the other side of that, if you are like the person that is eager to help a postpartum mom, one of the best things I think you can do is bringing them a meal. And I don't want to hate on like Chipotle and Chick-fil-A and all the fast food places. Like, if that's all you can do, that's all you can do to serve a mom at that point in time. But a meal that is even just like home cooked, is that a word? Why does that sound weird? I don't know. It sounds weird. Home cooked meal. Yeah. Home cooked meal is so thoughtful and is so nice, and also really helps a mom, I feel like, with just milk supply and nourishment way more than like a fast food place. There are people that gave us fast food for postpartum, and we were so grateful and thankful for that, to just honestly have a meal, just kind of taken care of. But also just knowing that really, especially if you want to breastfeed, or if you want to pump, like knowing that that could help your milk supply, knowing that it helps with your overall wellness postpartum, your mindset, your, talking about anxiety and depression, like not saying that it's completely 100% correlated with everything that you eat, but that does play a huge role in your postpartum journey, and how you're feeling is what you're eating. So yeah, you can bring someone a meal. You can just sit with them and ask them, hey, can I hear about your birth story? Maybe they want to share it. Maybe they don't. Some people love talking about that. I love hearing people's birth stories. So that can always help a mom kind of process what she went through. So those are some ways that you can help a mom. And I just want to say this in the most kind way that I possibly can. Just keep in mind that when you're not the mom who just gave birth, it's not about you. So if you're one of those people that, you're like, hey, when can I come over and see the baby? Hey, I just want to hold the baby. Like, there is nothing wrong with wanting to hold the baby, but it is not the most important thing for you to be holding that baby right now, or for you to meet the baby. The most important thing is that mom and that baby getting to bond and connect, and that mom getting the nourishment that she needs and the rest that she needs. And so, yes, holding a baby is so sweet and so fun. And maybe she actually does need that. Maybe she actually needs you to come over and hold the baby, and she goes and does something else, or she takes a nap, whatever. And if that's what she does need, then that's great. What I'm basically saying is cater to her needs, because it's not about you. She's the one that had the baby. She's the one that did all the work. She's the one that's going through so much right now. And so you just be there for her, and you be there for whatever she needs in that moment and in that season. It can be a really sensitive and vulnerable time for a mom, and the priority of things on her mind is just taking care of her and taking care of her baby. There's probably so many things, so many other things going on in her mind, but you getting to see the baby and you getting to hold the baby should not be something that she is stressing over to mark on her calendar so that she can make sure that your needs are met. No, her needs need to be met in this season. So anyway, all that to say, oh my gosh, I said it again. Go and serve a mom. Okay? Go and serve a mom. Another thing I wanted to just say is, along with that, is just like, we were created to be in community and to be helped by others. So it's easier said than done for some people. Like, some people and some moms don't want to ask for help. Like, it's hard for them to ask for help. But instead of thinking, I don't want to burden this mom, I don't want to bother this mom, instead of thinking that, think, oh, this person wants me to serve them and serve their family. And when I say, instead of thinking, oh, I don't want to burden this mom, or I don't want to bother her, like, still reach out to her. And if she doesn't answer, she doesn't answer. But also, if you are the mom, I just want to share with you that if someone is asking you for help, then let them help you, girl. Let them help you. Okay, we all need help. I still need help. I'm 4 months postpartum, y'all, and I still feel like I need so much help. Seriously. And it is okay to say that. And when you don't allow someone to help you, you are not allowing them to gift you with their service. And someone might just really want that. They might just really want to serve you. And when you say no, and maybe you're good, and you don't really need them in that moment, but when you just say no to everyone, who wants to help you, you are denying them the ability to be able to serve you. So just keep that in mind. Number 4, another thing, a little tidbit for you to help your postpartum journey is to support your body with the basic stuff, okay? Water, nutrition, rest. Okay, those are the biggest things I came up with, at least. Drink a ton of water. It is so easy to get dehydrated, especially if you are planning to breastfeed or pump. Then I'm pretty sure there's your breast milk is like over 50% water or something like that. I don't know. It's like a really crazy percentage. And so if you are, wanting to do that, even if you're not, just overall keeping things flowing, keeping things hydrated, like to not deal with constipation, and you don't want to deal with constipation postpartum. Oh my gosh. I can't even talk about that. That's a podcast for another day. Seriously. You do not want to be dealing with that. So just drink, tons of water and stay hydrated. That is super important. And eating nutritious things as best as you can. I know something that was really a helpful snack that I had postpartum, like really early on, was trail mix. And like not the chocolatey kind, but also, yes, I did have the chocolatey kind too. It was just such an easy snack that I could just grab the bag and snack on that. Just having some snacks prepared, but things that are, nutritious, that maybe someone can help you cut up some veggies and fruits and things like that. Because again, these like small little things are kind of time consuming, and like you wouldn't think that, like it would seem like it would just be an easy thing to do, but when you are in the thick of it and you are a postpartum mom and you are just so exhausted, you want the easiest thing possible. And usually the easiest, quickest things are things that aren't healthy for you, right? Like they're more processed or they're more packaged or whatever. And so just kind of prepping some of those things, that way you can have good stuff to help your mind, to help your body, to help your healing, to help all of the things. Milk supply. It's just such a good idea to eat things that are more nutritious, that have protein, all the things. And then just rest. Like I don't really know how I feel about this yet. There's like a new group of people that are, I don't even know if they're a new group of people, but there's a group of people out there that basically think you should stay in a bed for a couple weeks postpartum, basically. And there's a group of people that think you should be out and about as soon as you can. I don't really know how I feel about it. I think every mom and every situation is different. I think you know your body best because you are in your body more than anybody else. I think that slower is better, though, if you are postpartum or you're going to have a baby. I think that just resting, not just your body physically, but like also your mind. Like I will tell you, I think, I have wanted to talk more about this on a podcast episode all about like social media and our phones and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm not going to get in that rabbit hole right now, but your mind also, I feel like, really needs rest in this time, not just your body, but you going on the TikTokers and scrolling and Instagram and looking at all these, 5-day, 10-day postpartum moms with their newborn routine. God, if there's nothing that doesn't irritate me more, it is those, because I will look at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm doing something wrong. Oh my gosh. Like, it's not their fault, it's not their fault for creating that content. But it does give this perception that like there is some sort of routine at like day 10, which LOL, I have never met any mom who has got it together with a newborn routine on day 10. Like that just don't make no sense to me. And so, do not get on social media, especially. Do not get on social media. Take this time and just rest your mind and be with people if that's, your thing. I think it's always good to be around other people. It can feel really lonely sometimes, even though you're always kind of, either with a child or with your spouse, but it can still feel lonely. So, with all of that, just rest your mind, because your mind is so sensitive, I feel like, in that time and during this time, that you're just super vulnerable to the enemy's schemes. And, you can feel so joyful in your newborn bubble and then go on Instagram and immediately see this mom who is making more milk than you are and has a freezer stash of 100 packets of milk already, and their breastfeeding journey is just going amazing, or they're already sleeping through the night, or like whatever it may be. And just, it's so easy to compare. It's so easy to think, oh my gosh, I'm doing something wrong. Something's wrong with my baby. Like there's so many things. So to steer yourself away from that rabbit hole, don't get on there, and just rest your body. Don't be trying to go out and do a half marathon or anything, but like not even that, just seriously take it easy, I think is so important. And my last but not least, last but not least, let's go over these again. We have number 1, so planned a lot of things ahead of time. Number 2, communicate expectations with your spouse or partner. Number 3, don't be afraid to ask for help. Number 4, support your body with basic things. And number 5, last but not least, remember, you don't have to have every single thing prepared and ready to go to make your postpartum experience sweet. Wow, what? But that contradicts the first thing that you said, where you said prepare. Okay, yes, I do think it is so good to prepare. But for the people that like to prepare every single little thing, like myself, you're a planner, you're type A, you have a million lists on your phone, it's not all going to get done. I'm just going to tell you that now, okay? 99% of the time, probably everything won't get done. And that's okay. It's totally okay. I tried to plan a lot of details this time because I knew a little bit more of what to expect. But in the end, I just had to surrender what was either not planned or not done. Okay, so maybe you have this overwhelming list of things that you'd like done, but you go through it and you say to yourself, okay, what is actually a priority here before baby gets here? What's more of a want? What actually needs to get done? And even after that, just having peace, knowing that the Lord is going to provide all that you need. Okay, all that you need, He will provide, whether that's through a community or a close friend or someone else I remember, or a neighbor. Oh my gosh, we have the best neighbors that I would just text them like, hey, do you have this? And, they would just bring it on over. I remember texting a few friends. Okay, a little story for you. I remember texting a few friends to, I texted a few friends to ask to borrow some things, to see if they had something that was extra. So you can always get the things later on too. It doesn't have to be even before baby gets here. Because honestly, you don't always know what you're going to use, what you're not going to use. Like I said, because every postpartum experience is different. So funny story, I told Tony that this second pregnancy postpartum experience, I said, babe, I need a sitz bath. Okay. I need it. All right. This is not a want. This is a need, because my recovery with Noah, our first, was so rough. Okay. Down in my lady parts. So rough. And I said, I need this sitz bath. I got my sitz bath on Amazon. Okay. It connects to your toilet. Guess what? Never used it, because with Eden, our second, I was totally fine with all of that. Not totally, but it was not as bad as things were the first time. So I didn't even touch the sitz bath. And now I have a sitz bath. I'm like, what do I do with this? Do I put this on Facebook Marketplace, or is that weird? I don't know. But I didn't use the sitz bath. All that to say is that you can prepare for everything and you might not even use it, so you just never know. So just plan what you can, prepare for what you can, and then surrender the rest. All right, friend, I hope this was helpful. I hope that your experience in postpartum is such a sweet and beautiful journey. It can be hard, but just remember that God has called you to this and He will equip you to this. All right, friend, see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for tuning into His Haven podcast. I hope you walk away from it feeling seen and hopeful that God has so much more for you and you're not alone in your struggles. If you found this episode helpful, share it with a friend who you think it could speak to. And if you want to connect more, you can find me on Instagram at kayla.alemo. See you next time, friend.